Before we start, I need to correct a travesty. After beating Foul Play, or maybe after beating both of Sensei's missions, you unlock Sensei for purchase at Hachi's shop, and I forgot to show this. What I really like about this is, instead of making his usual joke or pun, he instead says, "My old pal Sensei," which is a reference to Jewel Strike establishing that they were old war buddies. And now, back to your regularly scheduled programming. Welcome back to Advance Wars 2 Reboot Camp. Last time, we completed the Hunt's End, the factory mission of Gold Comet, and now the entire nation is liberated. I always used to think that the countries in Macroland were the actual home continents of all the nations, and that Cosmoland was just one big landmass that all of them had small claims to. But yeah, now we're going to be going into our kind of reverse boss order, or the closest thing to reverse boss order, by going to Blue Moon, which you're meant to do first, as you can see by the numbering of this mission. And similar to last time, where objectively it would be best to do Showstopper first, because it was the lab map, yeah, here, the objective best route is to start with Toy Box. It's even labeled the next mission, because the lab map is here, then do the lab, and then do Reclamation, because this is pretty much a normal game. But I want to do this first because I'm sure all of you are eager to see the new Blue Moon CO in action. Lash and her army have set up at the northern frontier. Can Colin reclaim the stolen territory?
Uh-oh. Yes, sir.
No, I'm pretty sure I haven't seen this Blue Moon troop portrait before. Yeah, Olaf definitely seems a lot calmer and more level-headed than he was in the first game, but Grid is still the one giving the majority of the tactical advice.
I'll go. Right.
You know, the fact that Grit doesn't call him Junior already shows that he does kind of respect him.
Won't let you down, sir.
Yes, let's send the small child at them. Yeah, I still definitely prefer Colin's original design. It's one of the few that I prefer the original design for. Yes, the lives of your troops hang on the decisions you make out there, small child. Yeah, this is still a little weird. I still feel like in the original, I don't think he was implied to be this young.
Sir, yes, sir.
The Blue Moon mission intro theme was always pretty understated, but I felt like it fit, and it definitely fits for some of the missions we'll be encountering here.
Commander Lash.
So, in Blue Moon, we're going to be facing Lash most frequently. Lash, there is no time skip in this game. Yeah, I remember this line though. I remember this line pretty clearly.
Bam.
But before we go over this map, we need to talk about the other ridiculously broken new CO. Colin, an inexperienced little rich boy who somehow became a CO in Blue Moon. I like to think that his parents must have paid off a military academy or something. He views Olaf and Grit with awe and admiration. Purchases units at a 20% discount, but they suffer -10 to firepower. So Colin is conceptually the opposite of Kanbei. His troops are cheaper, but also weaker. The thing is though, they're only 10% weaker, not 20%, and a 20% discount is a big deal. I've always said that a 10% firepower penalty doesn't mean much when you can get bombers and neo-tanks when your opponent is struggling to get out medium tanks. But the other thing is that Colin's troops don't have any penalty to defense, and he'll have a lot more troops as well due to their cheaper cost, which means Colin is incredibly frustrating to go up against defensively too. But what makes Colin particularly insane is that combined with his CO powers. Now I'm going to buck the trend and cover his super first, because it's actually the weaker of the two. Power of money. Colin's unit's base firepower increases in proportion to funds available. So, this costs a total length of 6, the same as most average power meters, and I believe it gives plus 3% firepower per 1,000 funds. So if you have 10,000, that's an extra 30%, and thus it puts him up to plus 20. Which, yeah, is pretty good since you can quite easily get 10,000 funds. There are a lot of meme videos out there about how ridiculous power of money can be when you have like 9 funds. Like 1 HP recons one-shotting neo-tanks levels of ridiculous. But here's the thing. If you have that much money, you've probably already won the game several times over. Power of money is more overkill than anything else. The real thing you want to focus on is his normal power, Gold Rush. This multiplies his current funds by 1.5. And with his 20% discount, he can buy an awful lot with that extra money, like a whole bunch of bombers or neo-tanks. Yeah, Colin is particularly great once you unlock neo-tanks. Also, don't overlook that plus 10 defense boost as well, because this power only costs 2 units. The same as Ada's normal power, and his entire gimmick was spamming his powers. This means that Colin can have his plus 10 defense up almost every other turn, which makes him even harder to break through defensively. Yeah, that plus the money makes Colin completely ridiculous. I think that the reason why Colin is so broken is because Gold Rush is so cheap. If Gold Rush costed any more, Colin might have been a bit more balanced, but as it stands, yeah, Colin is very fun, but also your opponents will hate you for using Colin against them. So okay then. This map has actually changed a slight bit since normal mode, but the change is significant. Firstly, there's a laser here, and this one can fire every turn. Secondly, this base here, that was an airport on normal. On normal, the strategy was to get this airport and then just flood out Lash's base with bombers and battlecopters. You can kind of still do that, but it's going to take a little while longer. Also, Lash starts with some units. These two will rush for you from the start, whereas these three won't move until anything gets in their range, which is quite good in the case of that anti-air. But really, there's nothing to contest you getting this base, but I also want to make sure I go down to get that airport too. Now, mechs cost... Okay, I will actually need a mech quite soon. Oh, I have exactly enough for 2 infantry and 1 mech. That's great. The mech is there to deal with the recon and the tank that head forward. You can also build a recon of your own, but honestly, unless you're playing in Fog of War, Colin doesn't really need recons. Colin can get tanks out for, I think, 5,600, which is only a little more than other people would get recons for. There's also a lot of mountains here, so mechs are useful for that. In fact, I'm going to keep going for mech and 2 infantry, because it's going to give me the same number of bodies as getting 3 infantry would. And I am going to need those mechs quite soon, because of that recon. Now, if you're not careful, that recon can box you in on that bridge, which is a problem because there is a laser right here. And this laser actually doesn't impede your progress in this map as much as you might expect, but it still is a little annoying. You don't really need to destroy that laser for like quite some time. Okay, if I go here, I mean, either way I get at least 1 undamaged mech. I was just wanting to try and provoke him into attacking the mech that was on the mountain, which is usually a great thing. Also, mechs can cross the river more easily. Just going to make sure I'm out of range of that with my infantry. And I probably should start saving some funds. I love how Colin's APCs cost exactly 4,000. It's just like Kunde's APCs costing exactly 6,000. Yeah, I thought you'd go for the one on the weaker terrain. So I guess we can see Colin's animations now. I originally said that Colin, I didn't really like his reboot camp design, but it's actually growing on me now that I've seen his battle animations. They're pretty good overall. Okay, she is starting to spread out, but I'm gonna have this airport soon. This airport plus one other city. Yep, I've turned the capture animations back on just because we haven't seen Blue Moon soldiers capture when they're on our side before. Okay, this is a little bit of a problem because even though this thing will still die, even with a minus 10% firepower, Colin's mechs are still quite good against recons that are on roads. I'll have to see about this tank, because this thing's going to go down in terms of HP. In fact, on that note, there's a mountain and a river there. That infantry's going to take... It's actually just going to take 2 turns to cross that. But I may need... Oh! I don't need another mech, I have enough for a tank. See, here's the thing with Colin, he does get his better units out a lot faster, and that can be really hard to deal with. Because even with minus 10% firepower, units are often just very clearly designed to be counters to specific other types of units. For example, even a 10% weaker medium tank is still completely outmatching a regular tank on the enemy side. And yeah, medium tanks are generally designed to shut down regular tanks, whereas they kind of themselves get shut down by other medium tanks or artillery. But yeah, even artillery and rockets, like with Colin's still going to be doing really good damage with those units. Unfortunately, I can't quite get over that bridge yet, and don't really want to give him the first strike on my tank. I sort of want to save that, which means I can't really move this tank at all. He's probably going to end up going for the infantry in that case. Guess I can deter him a little bit by putting that on the mountain. Or, you know what, I hate to throw away this tank, but he either attacks the tank or the mech. In fact, he probably attacks neither and goes for an infantry instead. With this, I can afford a tank next turn. And either way, I get to hit him with either the mech or the tank next turn. Also, yeah, I've got nothing in range of that as well. Yeah, the laser is oddly more of a hindrance to Lash than it is to you, because it makes it really hard for her to get this city specifically. Because that infantry is going to get lasered twice. Okay, he did go for the tank. I suppose that makes sense. The tank's a more expensive unit. And with 10% weaker firepower, Colin is a little bit not great in the counterattack game. He's kind of a little more player phase oriented, to kind of use Fire Emblem terms. Did she not even build anything that turn? That's kind of weird. But okay then. Now things get really fun, because now that I have this airport, I believe, yep, I can afford battlecopters already. So let's go for that, and since that anti-air right there only moves when you get into its range, battlecopters are pretty great at harassing, I kind of combined Lash and harassing there. But yeah, at harassing Lash's troops from the early part of the game. You see, I love that, just kind of, it's very subtle, but that little smug look that Colin gives. So the cool thing about Colin is that he can, he doesn't really need a lot of funds to make a good start in the early game. But at the same time, he gets infantry out pretty fast, and that means that he can capture stuff quickly, and then he gets even more funds, and he gets exponentially better the more funds that he has, because that means that he can just, you know, again, spam out Neo-tanks and bombers ridiculously early. Unfortunately, Colin's not amazing at chipping down units. He still has luck damage like most COs do. It's not like it's any weaker for him. So yeah, unlike Sonya, he can still chip down units that have low HP. Just, well, as long as his units that are doing that have, like, 10 HP. Unfortunately, Lash is almost guaranteed to get that airport, but usually she doesn't have enough funds to deploy pretty good things with it. Even on challenge mode, this isn't a particularly difficult map. This is mostly meant to be like an introduction. You're meant to do this after the Orange Star campaign, and even though this is like last in the mission order of the first 3 Blue Moon maps, I still personally prefer to go for it first, just because I like to use, like, you know, who can blame me? I like Colin. Colin is, I mean, yeah, he's cheap, but he is really fun. The kind of ridiculous thing about Colin is that Dual Strike didn't nerf him at all, and if anything, Colin got indirectly buffed in Dual Strike. Yeah, I don't really want to talk about Dual Strike all that much, just in case I end up playing through it on the channel someday, but, let's just say that Dual Strike added a lot of very expensive but very good units, and Colin just, works with it. In fact, since I've already talked about the Black Bomb, I can mention this. So, part of the reason why Colin is indirectly buffed in Dual Strike is because of the Black Bomb. The Black Bomb, it does map-based damage when it detonates, which means that its damage is not affected by Colin's firepower penalty, and he gets them cheaper, which means that Colin has essentially objectively better Black Bombs than everyone else, and Black Bombs are a very broken unit. And that's only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to how good Colin is in Dual Strike. Because in Dual Strike, they also change things so that the power, using a CO power, gives a 10% firepower boost, so even though Colin doesn't have his ridiculous defense anymore, it also means that every time he uses his CO power, his troops' firepower goes up to average. And he's going to be using his CO power a lot because it is very, very cheap. So, okay then. The missile silos here might look like a trap because they're in range of the laser, but the truth is that even a 1 HP infant... Oh, I could make a start on capturing... This is actually an interesting dilemma. I guess I can stop that infantry reaching the silos next turn, if I move this battlecopter correctly. Because, yeah, if I move the battlecopter like here, and position it to sort of block stuff next turn, because if I can get this base, she can't attack me until after... Like, by the time she's able to attack this infantry, it'll be too late. Okay, I'll be able to grab that, which is going to be very, very, very good. Here's the problem. Advancing down here is, a little bit difficult thanks to the battlecopter and all of these tanks that she's spamming out. I'd sort of rather spend my funds on battlecopters right now, but oh hey, I can afford both battlecopters and tanks in the same turn, because I'm Colin. Yep, this is the sequel to I'm Kanbei. After all of those really long maps in the Gold Comet arc, I'm kind of liking having smaller maps here, where you get to the action quickly. It also feels really satisfying covering this much ground so early in the map. Yeah, see, it's going to take her forever to get that city as well. Yeah, the problem with Colin battlecopters is that, like, the AI likes to attack them because it's like, oh, look, they're weak. But, okay, she's got 2... Okay, interesting. She's going for the captures. Oh, but she already has battlecopters of her own. I often find that I don't even need to build anti-air with Cole on this map. Usually, it will suffice just to build, just to use my own battlecopters, because I'm going to be having way more battlecopters than she is, just because of the way that, Colin's economy works. And due to that, also, yeah, here we go. 1 HP infantry, still just as good at using silos. And for that, I think I'll... No, yeah, I should probably target this. But yeah, like, generally speaking, 2 battlecopters is a hard counter to 1 battlecopter. Because, yeah, like, you'll generally be able to first strike it with your own copters if it gets close. And Colin can get way more copters than everyone else. It's like, Colin is just well, okay, so Colin is 2 things. Colin reminds me of both both Dudley in the first Harry Potter, where he's like, last year I had 37 presents, but also Colin is reminding me of the VeggieTales thing with Billy has more toys than you. There's basically, yeah, like, one thing that I've heard people say about Colin is that he kind of encourages bad, like, habits when it comes to Advance Wars. And here's the thing about Gold Rush, it doesn't really matter when in your turn you get it, as long as you get it before you've spent any money, because, I probably should just do this.
I do my duty. Gold Rush.
And it does show an animation here because this is just a 10% defense buff. I think in the original it just made a cha-ching sound and the screen flashed. And yeah, now I have, I just barely don't have enough for a medium tank, which is unfortunate. But I can still get another battlecopter, and artillery will be good to take down this laser eventually. I mean, I don't even really need to take down the laser, but also Colin's power theme is amazing. Some people think this sounds like sort of Dennis the Menace or something like that. I don't even know if Dennis the Menace is a cartoon or if it's a live action show. But yeah, I just love how this is going totally crazy. Apparently this style of music is called ska, but I'm not like hugely, like, I don't really have much experience in knowing exactly what ska is. I only know that there's a song in one of the Sonic Rush games called Ska Cha Cha. So I think that copter can kill my 1 HP infantry. I think it's just barely in range. But now that I have these two yeah, that's gonna do it. That's probably fine. Yeah, now that I have these two bases, things should be pretty... Oh, I shouldn't have fast-forwarded that, because Colin's animation when he loses units is also quite good, as much as I shouldn't be praising the animations for CO's units dying. Now, we are at day 10, and the 100 speed limit for this map is 20 days. And, like I said, yeah, if I get my copter to first strike her copter, even though my copter is on 7 HP... still comes out pretty decently, although I feel like it might end up dying. But she's trying to get this base, but I'm not going to let her. I've already got it. It's kind of too little too late. She still seems pretty excited, though. Yeah, attacking Lash's troops when they're on cities is usually not a good idea. However, okay, she has rockets there. Yeah, one thing that it's easy to underestimate when it comes to Lash's rockets is the... Oh, she has a... Actually, though, I mean, I've got a battlecopter over here as well. But if I use this battlecopter, I do need to make sure... Oh, if I do that, then she, Actually, hang on a minute. Time to activate... No, wait, I was saying it wrong. Fires a missile! There we go. But... Okay, her anti is only on 4 HP. That probably means that I can afford to rush in with my copter here. And then I have this tank, which I wonder if I'm able to block her base this turn. I might be able to. Because I said before that medium tanks are kind of hard counters to regular tanks. Also, the guy who made the Lego Gold Comet tank also has a Lego Blue Moon tank and a Lego Orange Star tank. The Lego Orange Star tank in particular looks really nice. But yeah, I can take this thing down. This should probably secure me a good power score. But aha, I am now blocking this base. What I was saying before about the being careful of that rocket, because that rocket is on Lash's HQ, remember that because it's Lash, that's going to be a 40% firepower bonus on a rocket, which is a lot of damage. So yeah, that can one-shot, I found this out the hard way in an earlier attempt at this map, that can one-shot, tanks, even if they're on planes. See, if I get mechs out of that, the mechs are in a good position to march over this river and mountains and take out that airport. Meanwhile, oh right, I have more battlecopters. Because, again, it's just the thing that sums up Colin. Colin has more toys than you. I hate it, though, when I'm just barely off being able to afford a new unit. The thing with Colin is, because of his prices, oftentimes he ends up with some weird numbers in terms of funds. Like, he'll end up with, like, 20 left over.
You're so silly.
Interesting, okay.
Terrain tactics.
Is that the first time she's ever used terrain tactics? I feel like when I played this in my, playthrough in 2014, she also used terrain tactics here, though I could be wrong. See, terrain tactics is really only worth it when it lets an anti-air get to, like, a crucial air unit. No, I still love Lash's power theme. Yeah, this is not amazing, but I do have 2 copters that are coming in. Yeah, this tank is probably gonna die. No. And yeah, I just love how Colin just does that slow. I mean, in context, it's pretty sad, because Colin's whole thing is that he's very unsure of himself. But, like, yeah, him just doing that, like, very slow hat tilt. Now, this may actually die. Yeah, I thought it would. I mean, that's fine. Oh, and you're on a mountain, so this infantry is going to get horribly mauled. Yeah, I had a feeling that would be a one-shot too. Yeah, with terrain tactics, infantry can go across. In fact, I wonder if that was the entire reason she used terrain tactics. It might have been. But okay, now I can't grab it. Well, I guess I can, you know, grab the silo. But is there a way that I can silo? I mean, I can do that and silo myself. Probably, I'm so sorry, infantry, but this is probably for the best, because that's going to hurt her 7 HP capturing attempt, and also damage that, which I don't really have much of an answer to at the moment, although she gets that next turn if I don't kill it with the mech right now. Oh, the mech is going to take 2 turns to reach the airport anyway, so I might as well do this and completely ruin her capture attempt. It's pretty much Colin's whole mission here, is to stop Lash getting territory. And... okay, right. Which goes first? I should probably go for... no, I'm actually going to go for this tank, rather than the medium tank. Oh! Oh, look! I have Gold Rush again!
Don't underestimate me.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why they couldn't voice the whole line there. But this is kind of how Colin works. It's another thing, like with Sensei, that I didn't really realize when I was playing this game for the first time and for the, like, 3rd time when I recorded it, is that Colin's also better off spamming his normal power, because it means he can do this! Yep, I have bombers now. And that won't be the last bomber that I get. Far from it. And yeah, I still do 40% damage to lasers with artillery. Yeah, I guess this copter kind of has to hit this medium tank. Colin's theme is also one that always gave me a bit of nostalgia because, yeah, this was the first mission that I did after the Orange Star campaign, and I guess, like, I never really... having not played Advance Wars 1 as a kid, I didn't really get the whole, the novelty factor of being able to actually play as, like, Blue Moon and Green Earth and the other nations. In fact, I, like, you know, didn't even realize they were enemies in the first game. That was actually pretty confusing to me when I found that out. But at the same time, it was still really fun getting out of the tutorial, because this is, like, basically, this is sort of the first mission that I played when I was, like, out of tutorial mode and into, like, the real game, so... yeah, and the fact that it plays very much like a normal mission as well, it's kind of a good introductory point to the kind of War Room style. But also, yeah, Colin's theme, in the original game, I wasn't, like, a huge fan of how Colin's theme sounded, but I feel like it's one of those songs that really benefited from a remake, because, like, you can kind of tell that it was always supposed to sound sort of jazzy like this. And they just didn't quite have the instruments to really do that back in the day. Yeah, that thing is like 2.001 HP. Okay. Well, actually, that was smart of you, because it's gonna block me approaching your airport. Oh, also I get hit by a full... yeah. Well, at least it survived, thanks to mechs having... actually, no, it only survived thanks to Colin's power. But yeah, mechs are still slightly more defensive than infantry are. Comes into play a few times. But yeah, you might notice she doesn't even really have that many units right now, because it's quite easy to push her back. And in fact, what's my total... terms, what's my total income? 12,000. Not quite enough for a medium tank every turn. But in fact, I'm actually pretty close to... okay, let's not do that. Let's not get another infantry sliced apart by lasers. But I'm actually pretty close to getting this base that's down here. Though I do prefer to go for airports over bases in this map. You know, as much as I really want to run into her base right now, I actually think I'm desperately in need of copter support in the north, because it's... Yeah, my foot soldiers are finding it very hard to break through, Lash's troops when they're on mountains. Like, even this is not going to be a great matchup. 7-7's not terrible. I suppose I can take some pot shots at you. If that infantry's on just 7 HP, then it's probably not going to be, one-shotted by Lash's, then it's probably not going to one-shot my troops. But I have a bomber. Yep, that's basically how Colin works. Yeah, because Colin's like a weird mix of, like, because Kanbei is all quality over quantity. But Colin is a weird mix of quality and quantity. Because again, who cares if your Neo-Tanks and Bombers have 10% less firepower? They're still Neo-Tanks and Bombers. And getting Battlecopters for so cheap is also really, really good for Colin. Yeah, already Lash is very much on the ropes. Well, I mean, one of those infantry is getting one-shotted now. Okay, you're retreating to heal at the airport. That's probably not terrible. Okay, you don't have any defense bonus. I still lost 1 HP on a Battlecopter, though, which is not great. Now, is she going to build an anti-air? Yeah, she does often get provoked into building anti-air if you have a lot of copters or sometimes bombers near her HQ. So, that's something that you'll need to watch out for. But okay, this bomber can't quite get to the anti-air, so... Yep, yeah, I can't quite run in with my tank because this bridge is covered by the HQ, the HQ thing. But yeah, what I was going to say about the whole Colin and encouraging bad habits thing, that was from a way earlier turn, but now I can finally get back to that topic. Well, yeah, it's because, but it's because Colin kind of encourages that mentality of like, oh yeah, you're killing my units. Doesn't matter if there's plenty more where they came from. Very similar to Sensei. And there we go. I'm mostly doing that to stop the animation playing every turn because it's not really a huge threat to my advance. Because yeah, someone will say Colin is like that whole, It's like, Mommy, they broke my Neo tank. Oh, don't worry, I'll buy you 3 more. And now I can start getting this. So yeah, definitely starting to really push Lash back. That is definitely zoning out my bomber to a considerable extent, though. But now I can put the bomber over there. Just need to get my Battlecopters away. Yeah, that is the thing with air units. Even though they do get kind of zoned out by anti-air, they have very good mobility and can fly over terrain, and also there are a lot of rivers and mountains in this map. Okay, here's the problem. That capturing infantry is probably not long for this world, if that anti-air has anything to say about it. So, let me see, how much have I lost? I've only lost 5. I haven't really built as many units as I probably should, because I've kind of been going for, again, like, quality over quantity for Colin. See, as close as these bases are to the front, I generally prefer to build air units, just because Lash doesn't really have the funds to consistently make anti-air to counter them. So yeah, already I basically own 2/3. I kind of like how this map is divided into thirds with the rivers. It's kind of nice. And finally she gets that. Okay, now this could be a one-shot given Lash's, like, firepower bonus from, not quite, and I don't think she can get anything else on that. Okay. Actually, no, this is still kind of bad. It's funny how Blue Moon Battlecopters do kind of look like giant noses. The thing is that you don't really get to see Blue Moon Battlecopters all that much, like, until now in Reboot Camp, because, in the original Advance Wars 1, I don't believe they ever gave Blue Moon fighters or bombers outside of the tutorial missions, which got heavily cut down, in the remake. Okay, yep, I'll be ready to take this airport soon, so I'm gonna just, actually, no, I block with... If I block with my 1 HP battlecopter, she might actually kill it with the infantry. So unfortunately, I might be forced... Or I could block with the 1 HP one and then use this to kill that infantry, but I kind of feel like I'd like to use this battlecopter down in the south. Okay, here is an idea. I hit you with the tank first, and then I hit you with the bomber. Because the bomber does... Yeah, it does exactly enough base damage to kill this thing without getting damaged. So... Yep, this is what Blue Moon bombers look like. I'm not really sure what that little thing is sticking out of, like, the nose cone. But I think it's, like, some kind of radar or... I don't know, it's probably some kind of sensor. I just noticed that the missile launchers on the copters just kind of open up like that, which is cool. And again, yeah, I'm gonna have to do this. I just don't want her to get anything out of that. I suppose I can spread the damage around a little bit with my copters, or I can... I sort of feel better just trying to feed some infantry to that thing. It's probably not going to do a whole lot. And yeah, once I get my bombers and my battlecopters in here, even all the anti-air in the world isn't going to be able to stop my stuff. 1 HP copter. 1 HP copter, what are you going to do? Well, I mean, no matter where it goes, it's going to be potentially killed in retaliation by the 2 HP copter. So either I attack with it, but then it possibly dies. But if I retreat it, there's not really a whole lot of point to it. So maybe I can... Yeah, you can't quite reach it there. Okay, so you might die. Unfortunately, it's a sacrifice I am willing to make. Oh, nope, barely survived. That's good. Because I don't know if that's worth it. Probably not worth it. In fact, it's probably better for me to do that as a join. Also do that just to make sure that she can't, like, snipe a 1 HP unit and hurt my technique ranking. Okay, this tank probably... Oh, if this tank dies, she gets to build something out of that. But, I mean, it's far away from her main base, so that's probably fine. A pretty good tactic that I didn't really think to do in my... So, I ended up re-recording this because I did win last time, but I feel like this is a mission where it's kind of embarrassing not to get a perfect 300 on it. Because it's fairly simple, and I missed out on speed because I actually misclicked and ended one of my turns prematurely towards the very end, and yeah, that's just kind of embarrassing. It sucks to... I had a feeling she'd get an anti-air out of that. That's unfortunate. I may have to put an artillery in range and then surround it with infantry. But at least it means she can get an anti-air out of her main base. And speaking of her main base... Yeah, I probably should get started on this to try and break through the wall. Because now I can start getting her airport, and if I can get bombers out of that airport, that's going to serve me incredibly well. I usually win this map by HQ capture, but at this rate, like at the rate this is going, I could probably rout her if I wanted to. Okay, take out this artillery with the battlecopter. And now this battlecopter, I do really want to start hitting that, Okay, so I think my infantry should be able to deal with this infantry. The 5 HP one, though, is going to go down here and probably die to the anti-air, but I'm blocking it, and that's what matters. Yeah, because this one gets rid of this. Sometimes it can be a puzzle in how you move your units to destroy the enemy most efficiently. Because, yeah, if I attack this thing from above, and then with the 7 HP infantry from the side, I get to kill it without expending the bomber, which frees up the bomber to one-shot this thing. And, yep, 7 HP infantry takes this thing out. So yeah, now you go above, you go to the side. One of them will die, but that means the anti-air is occupied and stuck in range of my artillery, which is exactly what I wanted. You know what? I probably should get rid of this. Not only does it put my own battlecopter closer to her base, but it also means that this battlecopter isn't under threat right now. I didn't quite get Gold Rush, though. I mean, I'll have it next turn. Also, yeah, just lol. I took 1 HP off. You know, I can probably afford to just keep getting more battlecopters. I'll definitely have enough for a bomber by the time I've captured that. So I think I'll end things here. Her using terrain tactics earlier makes it less likely that she'll... In fact, yeah, she's probably not going to get prime tactics at all. Which is really great, because if she gets prime tactics, it makes it very hard for you to finish her off, because all of her units that are, like, on her... Oh, actually, I don't get this next turn. That's a shame. But yeah, it makes all of her units that she's building out of her bases near the HQ, it makes them... Let's just go for Gold Rush again.
Money buys power.
It makes them incredibly difficult to shift, unless you go for Power of Money. This just makes me think of Kaneshiro's Make It Rain attack from Persona 5, even though that's percentage-based damage, and thus it's not really as much of a threat as this. And the music goes fast again. I hate that I just barely didn't get this airport, but, like, look at my money right now as well. Because if you want, Gold Rush can also feed Power of Money, but really it's probably most, like, it's definitely most efficient to, yeah, no, I should go for this, because this is more of a short shot. I shouldn't waste a bomber on something that, would die to a copter anyway. But, okay then, I suppose I can get 2... If I manage to take this thing out with 2 battlecopters, and then the bomber can go on that and block another of her bases, does mean that I'm giving her a lot of, like, potential funds that she's not spending, which might mean that she, has more to afford more expensive units, but, yeah, still, can I? I don't think I can kill this with my 2 battlecopters. Unless I get pretty lucky. But that plus infantry's a possibility. Yeah, didn't quite get lucky enough on those, but... Full health infantry might be able to finish this? There we go, okay, good. No more anti-air, and now... I start getting that. I don't think I'll be able to kill off this artillery, though, before it damages the infantry. I feel like maybe the infantry could get one-shotted by the mech if it goes there, so let's not do that. And I'll do this to get maximum movement out of my mech here. Or, you know what? No, it's better if I start capturing her cities just to drain her income even more. I can't quite afford 2 bombers in one turn. That would be amazing. But if I hold off on spending, I think I'll be able to get a bomber next turn. I think those 4 units are the only ones she has left, though. Yep, just like Sensei with Ada, Lash has learned not to underestimate the new person. It's kind of sad that Green Earth's new person isn't quite as good as Sensei and Colin, but I think she's a little underrated, honestly, but we'll talk about that once we get there. Okay, now I finally have this. I'm not really sure how much good it's going to do me. But I do get to drain her income a little bit there. Like, how much income does she have right now? 6,000 is more than I expected she would have. But, okay then. I hate having to attack an anti-air on a property with a bomber using Lash, but I might need to. Yeah. Because it's going to shoot back with plus 30% firepower, and yep, I lose 3 HP on a bomber, which is not good. I do have another one, though. Yeah, that's, again, the whole spoiled brat Colin thing. Oh, look, you hurt my bomber. Oh, no, I have another one. I can start hitting her, although if I do start... Yeah, I can start hitting her rocket now, though. Yep. That's not a lot of damage. HQ defense plus Colin's firepower... Oh, she is going to get prime tactics. What turn is it? 17. I'm probably still in a good position to finish this up within 20. And I can actually take a shot at a transport copter with a battlecopter. Problem with Colin's battlecopters is, normally, battlecopters are pretty much guaranteed to destroy transport copters in one hit, but with Colin, the firepower penalty means I don't think that's a sure shot anymore. Oh, I actually meant to get a battlecopter, but... that just sums up Colin. Oh, I meant to get a battlecopter, but oh, I got a bomber instead. Oh, I really didn't want him to do this, especially since that bomber may die. Because that... oh, it's only on 4 HP. But that's going to have 6-star defense now, and a 60% firepower bonus. You know, I probably shouldn't have attacked that rocket. I got too overzealous there. None of their units can even really move. But okay. Oh, yeah, that was a one-shot. And that's also probably a one-shot, yep, because 8-star defense with, yeah. That's the thing, like, this is why I kind of prefer to focus on air units with this map, because, it's very difficult to approach her HQ with land units with that rocket there. Because that's a really, really big firepower bonus. Oh, well, at least the bomber still kills this. I probably shouldn't even bother trying to, also, I don't think I'll even bother, trying to attack the, trying to capture this base. But yeah, I probably shouldn't even bother with attacking this rocket, because look at this. Tink! That rocket has just turned into a Fire Emblem Armor Knight right now. Well, actually, Fire Emblem Armor Knights aren't actually all that durable. You know what? Just because I can, I'm going to block you with the 1 HP copter. Also, just because I can. Oh, just barely off. I was hoping to go for swag points with that. I actually do need to keep out of range of that rocket with my land units, though. Oh, right, I can get another full health battlecopter in. Look at all those copters. Oh, and I have that now. So, I've got basically this whole map apart from the tiny little base that she's left with. And she can't do anything, yep. Oh, and I have another. Well, I mean, this other bomber was a full health bomber at one point in time, so I guess I can say I have another full health bomber. I mean, I do have a Victory Gold Rush, but I'm not going to do it. But what I am going to do is I'm going to build a Victory Bomber. And yep, that's over. I could use Gold Rush and get like 2 Victory Bombers, but no need to drag this out any longer than it already has been. Goodbye, Lash. For now, at least. Yeah, Lash is also kind of a spoiled child. The thing with Colin, though, is that, like... Colin definitely doesn't act that spoiled, even though he has kind of every right to, and...
Yes, sir.
That really says something. And yeah, they still say this. I always remember that they always said, we've secured the enemy HQ, even if you won by route.
Audacious, sir.
Sure. This is just the beginning of my story.
Oh, yes, yes, it is, and what a story it will be. There we go, there's the 300-point S rank. That's a very fun mission and a great introduction to Colin. 3 guesses who I'm going to be using for a lot of factory and lab missions. I mean, Grit's also good for a few of them. But, with that mission complete, I will see you next time for Grit's first mission in Black Hole Rising, because I want to save Olaf's for last. It's a little special. So see you next time for Tanks. That is literally the name of the mission.